Hello everyone, how you guys doing? Welcome back to the official Nick Walsh TV channel. Welcome back to more Spinning Goes. We are trying to play 10,000 Spinning Goes in 2026 to see what will happen, and we're tracking all of it. Let's take a look at the results so far. All right, let me clean this up a little bit. Let's take out all of the funny ones. All right, so this is about as basic as it gets, guys. This is chips over hands played. We are winning more chips than we're losing. It's true. We are winning some EV in the process, expected value chips. However, we are not winning enough EV fast enough to be satisfied. It's not good enough, god damn it. It's not good enough. But mama didn't raise no quitter. We are going to try our best to change things, try and get on a more upward trajectory. Now, I have put together a text document which will remain secret despite the fact that I just put it on stream. It's not really a secret. I have put together a text document based on my analysis of the current $25 Spin and Go player pool, and I am going to try my best to adjust for the player pool in the circumstances where I feel that they are making considerable deviations from game theory optimal strategy. We basically did this work over the weekend. Yesterday was my first day of implementation. We proceeded to run awful regardless, which is going to happen no matter what. But if we take a look at what happened so far this month, you guys will get an idea about what's going down right now. So we have successfully managed to make it into plus EV territory after encountering a lot of hardship in the EV department. We have actually started to win some chips as well. We've actually been running somewhat above expectation after running significantly below expectations. So hopefully this continues. That would be really nice. But overall, guys, as per usual, it's volume that will defeat variance. And so we need to play some more volume. And I'm hoping that with the adjustments that we're about to make, we will see this line start to climb in a fashion which will be more becoming of a professional poker player. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you for coming to join me. Let me really quickly fire up the old YouTube and make sure we're getting comments from them as well. Thank you, everybody who joined us yesterday, by the way. I appreciate all your continued support. And I love you guys for hanging out with me. I love you guys for hanging out with me when we are running bad, because it's a lot more fun to play poker and run bad, and you guys can share it with me rather than doing it on your own and just feeling super depressed about it. So with no further ado, let's fire up some poker and let's play some games. So we're gonna stick to the one table again for now, guys. I will be doing streams in the near future with more tables. I like to do a little bit of both anyway in general, but we do need to catch up on the volume front. There we go. So our first game here. Reminder also, I want to solve bibbing through big blind, 3 big blind, opens from button. Just gonna make a little note there. I want to do some solving for the 3x deals. It's not gonna be perfect. It should just give us some sort of an idea as to what we're supposed to be doing. Thomas asking, when did the run get happen? The run get happened yesterday evening. I played a couple extra games. We're going to fire at least 2 barrels here, guys. And the spade is potentially the worst run out we could have seen. I'm fairly certain that we're putting in 2 very good value bets here, but our opponent is going to get there, obviously, on that river very often. Jack 7 of diamonds. This one is probably pretty close. In the 3x multiplier with Princeton in the big blind. Let's mark that one for review. We already have some hands for review in the tank. Okay. Good morning, Zintex. Good morning, Tom. So I don't know what's going on, but we, as you guys know from the mess over here, what we're trying to do today, or what we're trying to do this week, I should say, is obviously get the new office set up. So the majority of the new office is established. Our builder guy, however, is going to redesign how the desk works, because the desk isn't solid the way that I wanted it. Once that is solved, a lot of this junk will go into there and it will be stored properly. However, we're also trying to get rid of monitors, old monitors, and also this giant desk that I was using in that office before. The monitors are sold successfully. This desk is sitting here waiting to be collected. It was supposed to be collected at midday, which was 2 hours ago. So at this point, I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but if they do turn up, I guess I'm just gonna let them in, and I'm just gonna throw it out the door, and they can handle it. Thank you for the good fortune, Tony. Appreciate that, May. I'm gonna try. Zintex says, to be honest, I like watching streamers when they're running bad. It makes me feel better knowing I'm not the only one dealing with downswings. Wish you the best of luck today. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. I know you mean well, my friend. Tough stream, Nick already marking hands for review. To be fair, the Jack 7 isn't a sad mark. We're not marking it because it's sad. We're marking it because I think it's probably close at 9. I think it's I think Jack 8 suited for sure. Jack 7 is a fold though. In the suited categories. My beautiful girlfriend has this electronic scent diffuser that she's constantly telling me is too powerful, it's too strong. You put it in and the whole house smells like too much of chemicals. And it's definitely releasing toxic chemicals into the atmosphere here in the home. And then she thinks it's a great idea to plug it in and turn it on when she leaves the flat for London. Just the mind boggles. The mind absolutely boggles. What are we doing here? Let's play this one like this. We're calling a shove if we need to. We have alternative strategies that we are now employing, chat. We have alternative strategies we are employing. Flopping 2 pair is a good strategy. Flopping 2 pair, very good strategy. Right, on the turn. I think we're going to do this. I don't think our opponent's going to have a flush here that often. There are plenty of combinations that can still call. Thing sounds more powerful than an essential oils diffuser. I mean, the essential oils diffuser would actually smell nice. This is like one of these Glade products. So it's like way more like harsh chemical smell kind of thing. And I just, it's, I think it's a funny decision to turn it off because it's too strong and then turn it on as soon as she's about to leave the house. And also I think it's funny that we can't win a flip. Really funny. Thoughts and prayers for Nick, who will bink a 25x today. And I can finally pay the cleaning lady. That's right. Cleaning lady is working on poker commission. Okay. Little blind v blind push would be nice. 68%. 68%. Nice. Nice, yeah. See, the essential oils diffuser thing is usually just like the reeds inside of the pot. And it kind of smells nice, and it's obviously just diffusing the natural oils. This is like, I'm pretty sure there's a heating unit in it, and it's heating like perfume. And I'm almost positive that Brian Johnson tells you that these things are like legitimately toxic, like one of the worst things you can put into the air, like after candles. But that's okay. My respiratory health is of no importance to young Ruthie, clearly. Right, we know what the move is here, guys. We know what this move is. This is the move. This is the confirmed move. And if we are to put the chips in, we put the chips in. Wish me luck, guys. Here we go. Check this out. Can't miss. So if you play the simplified version of this strategy, 8-7 suited is a jam versus limp. If you play the advanced strategy, then what we do is we start to include the big ISOs with those suited connectors so we can balance when we're doing it with stronger stuff as well. If Red Ave shoves here, we're calling A6. I believe we can mark it for review, but I'm almost positive this is the strat. We end up making top pair on Ace 10 4. Two pair is usually pretty good. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I would say this is probably what we would do as a bluff. I think a 10 needs to be particularly sticky here. It's going to be really annoying if they have like King 4 with the King of Hearts. That works as well. Sensitive Tony says, not a joke, Nick, but I burn a high-end Japanese incest during my sessions and in the morning. I think that's really cool. I completely sign off on that. I think that's lovely. There are different compounds though, right? So theoretically, I think like there are certain kinds of candle wax that are meant to be better, but apparently burning candles in the house is meant to be really, really bad. Like it's a specific kind of particle that's meant to be really bad for your health. Anything like that's like this, these chemical smells are definitely not going to be any good either. I think incense and essential oils are slightly different. Definitely plus EV though. I'm a fan of incense. I don't think Ruthie likes the smell of incense. I know there's different kinds, obviously, as well, but it could be the case that high-end Japanese incense is her jam. I don't know. Anyway, that was a nice game. The A6 hand is interesting. I'm going to mark that one for review as well. Did we mark the Jack 7 suited? Oh yeah, mark that one as well. So just thinking about this hand here. It's hard to get called by worse if we raise. I don't think they play a heart flush like this. And I don't think they play a heart flush like that. I don't think they play a 10 like that. I don't think they have an ace. So, yeah, it just seems a bit thin to raise. We'll take a look in a bit. Yeah, this one's pretty straightforward. Yeah, we have a note about this one as well, about the blind v blind spot we want to adjust. Aces is a good hand. Aces is an above average hand. I think this is a size up. King of Hearts. Probably not the worst turn in the world, but probably not the best either. Let's try it. Lovely. Ace is cracked, no problem. Now I'm gonna look this one up as well. This is a versus a reg. Let's have a quick chat about this one because I think there's something interesting going on here. Okay, so there's a couple things at play. This guy is a reg. Requenia is a very good reg. I think that the way we play this hand is appropriate. Now the turn size might be wrong, but I think bet turn call is correct. The replayer is broken, so just fuck my life. So much more clicking, Jesus. All right, cool. So obviously textbook so far. On the flop, there's a chance we're supposed to size to 3. I'm kind of trying to use some slightly different sizings here for a specific reason. As played, though, this is how it plays. Now, our opponents will have hands like 9-7 here with the 9 of hearts, the 7 of hearts. They will have hands like Jack-9 with the Jack of hearts, all that kind of stuff. I think at this stack depth, our intention is basically to get aces in pretty much no matter what. In particular, not having the ace of hearts obviously makes this a little bit worse, but in general, whatever. I think there's a chance on the turn we're supposed to bet something like 5, and then we're supposed to call the shove. In fact, you know what? Let's actually pause the session right now and let's look this one up because I want to learn from this right away while it's still fresh in my mind. So we've got this hand marked for review. Okay, it's already marked. I'm going to close up PokerStars now. And let's take a look at the review really quick while we're on a little bit of a pause, just so we can think about this while it's fresh. So we open the aces here, our opponent's flat. Like I said, I think there's a chance we're supposed to have a 3 big blind bet here instead of 2.5, but there's a bit of leveling and there's a meta here. So let's just see let's see basically what I want to learn is it bet, call is the line that I'm trying to figure out here. The other component is, I believe that Requenia is supposed to lead this turn with the small flushes often, which means technically a reg will have fewer made flushes on the turn, and they'll be more prone towards check jamming a combination draw on the turn. You know, obviously trying to rep hearts. Let's just take a look at this spot and let's see if we can learn anything. Like I said, I don't anticipate all the sizes are right. I just want to see if the concept is correct. So we're going to open up GTO Wizard here really quick. Again, PokerStars is not open. We're not playing poker right now. It is completely closed. The client itself is completely closed. Okay. So this is accurate and this is appropriate for a reg v reg play. Now let's go from the start. So obviously the min raise, obviously check, obviously. On this board, bet 2, bet 1.5, bet 1, all very similar in equity. So we're thinking along the right lines. We go for a 2.5. However, the 2 is the one that is used in line with the bet 1 as well. Now, once we arrive on the turn, bet 3 100%. Okay, cool. So we are making the correct adjustment here based on stack depth. We have 10.5 effective behind. This is 100% accuracy when we get jammed on 100% called. Now, 2 other things that we want to try and confirm here. Number 1, is my anticipation correct that the small hearts are supposed to lead more often? And does a reg do that? Regs do that. Yes, absolutely. So that's fine. Let's just confirm if that bias is true. And then also let's take a look at the kinds of hands that check jam turn and if they do align with the combinations I was describing as a bluff. I mean, he can do the same thing with a king. You know, he can do the same thing with a 10 to a certain degree. He could have 10-9 with the 9 of hearts. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So the turn was a king, and we're going to look at the big blind first. So the amount of leading here is probably significant. Yep. So we lead for 3 big blinds 7.8% of the time, and much of that is going to be these small hearts, right? So what did he turn up with in the actual hand? He's got 7-4 of hearts. Yeah. So 7-4 of hearts here, for example, is going to be a lead some of the time. If we disable this, it would appear that the 8 deuce wants to do it more often, the 7 deuce. So these are the worst heart draws that have gotten there, basically. It's not happening as often as I thought it might. It's interesting it happens frequently with a pair and a heart draw. So 8-7 of hearts wants to lead more than 10-6 of hearts, for example. Sorry, 9-4 of hearts, for example, where it's just the turn flush. So the lead is a thing. I'm assuming because we're at this shallower stack depth and the pot is like this, that's probably one of the main reasons why we're not seeing more leads. So if we were to replicate this hand, if we replicated this hand and we started with a smaller continuation bet size, let's say that we went for the bet 1 instead, and there was a call. Now the overall pot size is smaller. So if the turn is the king of hearts, my anticipation is that they have to lead more often to get closer to pot. So that's the king of hearts. Oh, very interesting. Okay, cool. So that's not true at all. Raise, fold, call, check, bet, call, and now there are no leads, even though we are deeper stacked. Very interesting. Okay, cool. That's not expected. So we'll have to analyze this at a later date to try and figure out exactly what the mechanic is here. But it is interesting to note that some of the made hearts are represented as a lead. So that was accurate in our assessment, the way we played the hand originally. Now let's take a look at what the big blind is supposed to be shoving here. So let's take a look at the all-ins. This is Queen 9 with the 9 of hearts. That was one of the combination draw. Well, it is a combination draw in the way we were describing. Queen of hearts, 9 of spades. There you go. That's another one. Queen of hearts. Basically, all the queen of hearts are check jamming here as a bluff. This is king 8 with the 8 of hearts. That's 2 pair. That's just 2 pair. Never mind. Ignore that. Jack 9 with the 9 of hearts. Jack 9 with the 9 of hearts. We're basically hitting the nail on the head here. This is accurate. Okay, cool. So everything's good here. Everything's kosher. We are absolutely playing this hand well against a reg perfectly. Cool. This is an interesting board. Oops, sorry, guys. This is an interesting spot to discuss anyway, because I would say that generally speaking, I would have previously been much more cautious on the king of hearts turn simply for fear of the hearts. But I would say that generally speaking, one of the things that we're not doing very well is we're not recognizing in the faster games at shallower stack depths, we have less incentive to be cautious and more incentive to get chips in the middle in an aggressive way. It also makes it more believable when we barrel that turn that we have strong hands too. Hey, Tony, how's it going? Paint by numbers, LFG. Thank you for the good lucks. I appreciate it. Also, you guys will note that we had aces and it got cracked, which is always fun because the hands you're supposed to win at Showdown contribute to a healthy graph. Unfortunately, we simply don't run like that. Anyway, back to the grind. All right, obviously, guys, I'm just going to say it out loud so there's absolute clarity. We have closed all of that advanced charting material. We are now going to simply play cards. To be honest, the vast majority of the work that I do in GTO Wizard is literally copy hand history, paste hand history, review. And I'm sure that all of my logs will indicate that that is the case as well. It's kind of hard to RTA with defined hand histories, with predefined hand histories that were literally produced by the engine after a hand concluded, if that makes sense. But obviously, don't take any chances, guys. Always please comply with TOS. We're always extra careful when we're doing study sessions that we close everything up, so we're not going to come under any sort of suspicion of any foul play. Hello, Dankle. I've already said hi to you, Dankle. Hello again, mate. Sorry, I thought that was a new post. Right, on to the next one. We should have kept that one open, actually. We should have taken another look. If we have the ace of hearts, I wonder how that changed our strategy. Printle. The official Printle monster. Time for the legendary King of Poker. The guy is online 24 hours a day. It's actually insane, dude. The Estonian Super Crusher. This game got shallow pretty quick. Sorry guys, one sec. We're just going to keep it balanced here with the Queen's Jam. These two will absolutely overfold if we min raise that spot or we limp. It's going to be way too suspicious for reg v reg play. And the jam is absolutely going to be the best way to get max value from regs because they will assume they have to call with the correct range. King and a 7. This might be a smidge wide. Pretty sure King 7 of diamonds is fine. King 7 off. I mean, it's definitely King 10. King 9 for sure. King 8 is getting close. Let's mark that one for review as well. Hey, Black Magic, what's up? Ciao, ciao. Thank you for the good lucks, man. I appreciate you. Same again here, guys. We definitely don't want to mess around with anything weird there. Princeal and King of Poker will see straight through that. King 8 there actually might be a shove. We got the King 7 marked. We'll have to come up with like a little story in our brain to remember that one. That one marked now. 10-8 is a call there versus jam. No, this is a fold. Queen 7 call. And 10 tray folds. Tray 5, we get the walk, which is nice. 10-7 is a shove at 9 big blinds effective, so 6.3 is definitely fine. 2 live cards, I'm okay with this. And yeah, pretty much just gotta run the numbers here and play the hands. 8 tray. 8 tray is a hand that we actually want to raise at a fair frequency versus limp, but we're going to only do it at the correct frequencies. So this seems like a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This seems like an appropriate spot to have a lead. Let's go for the full 1.6. And 10-7 again, even better than the 10-7 off. This is a shove for significantly more big blinds, theoretically. And ace deuce, obviously, we're calling all day. I said call. Stupid button. Aces is a good hand. Aces is definitely an above average starting hand. Queen 4's got to go here. Queen 4 jam at 7 and a bit big blinds. Pretty straightforward stuff at this stack depth. And we get next game. Oh, hello. All right, we want a big multiplier here, chat. 2 unknown players, big multi, please. 3x is better than 2x. We've played a little bit with this guy yesterday, I think, from the Philippines. I think queen high, king high, we can float there. This is a really bad flop for us. King or a jack on the turn would be nice. It's just getting worse. Okay. King might be bait. Yep, just bait, obviously. My God, it's just so fucking boring. It is so boring, the bullshit that we've had to endure the last couple weeks. I wish I understood. I really wish I understood how it was so easy for us to just always be on the wrong end of those situations. We couldn't connect with a king or a jack to save our life unless our opponent has the straight, obviously. Good morning, Mac. How you doing? Thank you again yesterday for all your subs, mate. It was very kind of you to support me like that. Very, very nice, my friend. Let's go 10-8. AK baby. So we know that this guy really hates to fold. Let's just do something super duper weird here. He limp called with the queen 8 last time, right? For 10, so I think maybe the jam's the best way to get the chips in. It's probably the safest way to play it, to be honest, but in games like this, we can get a lot more if we play some goofy lines. I would say based on the queen 8, we should probably consider doing something really weird there. Well, my guy folded down to about 1.5 bigs. Waiting for 8s, got rewarded. Queens is a good hand. Gonna just see if we can get this guy to put the rest in here as well. Of course! Of course! What is going on? It's fucking insane. It's actual insanity. It is actually insane. What? I don't know what I've done wrong. I've done something seriously wrong, you guys. Got fucking 8 big blinds, and we're still cracked with queens here. It's absolutely perfect. It's a never-ending story of constant domination. I have never, ever, ever been more dominated more frequently outside the bedroom, of course. Go on, ace king in the big blind. Give it to him. What's up, Specky? Good to see you, mates. Are you currently with us in the United Kingdom? This is really messed up, this hand. I mean, we have infinite. What do we need? 20% equity? This is not the flop we were looking for. And he's bluffing us off the dry pot, which we would have turned, by the way. I don't think we have enough exclamation marks here. Well, we would have eliminated that guy if the other guy didn't get involved. Specky proposes a new challenge. Win a game.
Does he ever lose? This guy. Does he ever lose?
Yeah, I lose sometimes. Nick Walsh, try not to complain about the run bad for one stream challenge. It's honestly impossible. That's probably harder than the 10K. Honestly, Specky, I don't want to be a whinger on stream. I really don't. But this has been a particularly extended period. This has been a particularly challenging time for me. Oh, I'm sorry, mate. I actually didn't even mean to say United Kingdom. I meant, like, you know, this side of the pond. We fought wars about this. You did indeed. My apologies. That's not... had I not been playing and getting destroyed on a spin and go, I wouldn't have said that. I have a friend from the Republic of Ireland here in Brighton. And he has drilled that into my brain. How's Thailand treating you, buddy? I have been having longings for Southeast Asia. Hey, Gil, how's it going? I know. Specky set me a new challenge, though. We're not allowed to complain about the rum bad anymore. Watch me go. Watch me go. Honestly, I'm definitely somebody who... I'm generally somebody who is not that bad when it comes to complaining about variants. Having played spinning goes for a very long time, I'm got pretty thick skin. However, when I get in the habit of it, I do tend to wallow and spiral a little bit. It's a bad habit. It's a bad habit to get into. Specky has good reason to suggest the challenge. You played spins yesterday for the first time this year? Wow. Somebody is living their absolute best life. Somebody is living their absolute best life out there. All right, Queen 10 or a heart, guys. Watch this. I am tempted to bluff this river. Against this guy, probably not, though. Specky just out here, absolutely minted, doesn't have to do any work. Let's bluff the turn. And then let's bluff the river. Wish me luck, guys. We're going to try and get this guy to fold a 5, a 7, or a 4, or a 6. Cool. And the Jack 4, we can play in position against this guy. I would say that on ace high textures, betting the bottom pair here is a little bit more often. Decent kicker as well. 10-5 suited. This is a tough one. I think against this guy the check is better. I think he will give us a little bit more info on later streets here. Okay. Absolutely exhausted. Still fatigued from drinking on Sunday, which won't mention to anyone in my club or they will kill me. Good. Whatever you do, don't post it in a public forum. And we'll buy back every year. Well, good luck in training, Gilly. Specky says, treating me well, thanks. Did a trail race through the jungle last weekend. Was 25 kilometers through tough trails in thunderstorms. Had to drop out at 14K. The total dropout percentage was 68%. That sounds brutal, dude. Well done, though. Well done for taking it on. Still grinding, just playing cash now? Fair enough, mate. That makes sense. I think playing cash is a great way to exist. I think cash games in poker are very, very cool. I have always had the most consistent long-term success with cash out of any format I've played. Ugh, for God's sake. Nine four is usually a fold here pre-flop, guys. Against this guy, we're going to play it in position, though. All right, can we win this game? Seems good. Martinez. Martinez. If that guy can show me a bluff, I will give him an award. How much you want to bet that this guy has Queen 3 with diamonds? Two X multiplier. Let's just play the ace deuce push. Okay, next game. Martinez El Mimo. El Mimer Martinez. Just jam, Printle. Just jam. Heads up against Martinez. Let's see if we can do some damage here. Let's see if we can do some damage. We're at 19. Martinez. Señor Martinez. What are you thinking about, Señor Martinez? I'm thinking I'm gonna make it 4 to go with Señor Martinez. 4 big blinds. And then we have a little bet here. If this guy has an ace, which he shouldn't, he's going to win. If he has a 7, it's a good spot for him as well. I feel like he's still going to have king high, queen high quite often here too, but we're not really playing this hand to give up 8s on a texture where our opponent really shouldn't have much of anything. This might be better. We could try and get him to bluff it in. I guess there's a good chance that we win then. King high. He has literally king 9. Sensational poker by Nicholas Walsh. And then he has 3 big blinds. And then he has an ace. Meanwhile, us 9 big blinds and below, bottom 2% of the deck. He had 3.5 big blinds, and he has ace jack against queen jack. I would have less stream if you lost that ace queen flip. Okay. Ace jack? Ace king? Oh, no, that's fair. That's fair. 7's very fair. Never ace deuce, never ace 3, never ace 4, never ace 5, never ace 6, never ace 7, never ace 8. Never king 9. It should not be that hard, guys. It should not be that hard. All right, bear with me, guys. 1 sec. Okay. Let's do it. Just going to put the kettle on, guys. I feel the need for a cup of tea. We're going to preemptively make a cup of tea to relax the mind, to quell the beast within. Because in an ideal world, what we would do is not always run into the top 5% of the deck every time we have a player under 3 big blinds, or 4 big blinds, or 5 big blinds, or 6 big blinds effective. Said next game, please. I'm ready now, so stay with me. See you in a bit, Tom. Diamond, please! We could have the best hand still on this river. Definitely could still have the best hand there. Plenty of bluffs that don't get there on the river there, but there we go. Yeah, Poker Bras, I bought you the damn bottle specifically for you and your meme, and then I drank it on streaming. You weren't even here to watch it. The order was made, yeah, absolutely. Why am I not surprised? Always dominated. I'm getting some new t-shirts made, guys. Always dominated. New t-shirts being made. So new, in fact, not just t-shirts. It's going to be like a whole clothing line. It's going to be a spin-off clothing line. And the clothing line will be called Always Dominated. We'll do t-shirts, hoodies. We'll do Poker Stars stress toys. We'll do bottles of Fireball. This one's not even free all the way done. Just the spicy part at the bottom. Hey, what's up, Guru? Good to see you. Martinez cannot wait to call with ace-5 of clubs here. Martinez really has got a very specific idea about the way we play poker, I think. Not sure it's completely justified. So the 8-7 shove I can confirm is definitely good. The King-5 call where we're also dominated can confirm is also very good. I have notes about this specifically. We're not going to miss the shove. You know what's really funny though, guys, is one of the things I identified, which I was not surprised about at all when I was doing the database analysis, was how frequently the regs, like in the extreme, are defaulting to push-fold tactics as we get shallow. And what's even funnier is it's a clear, very, very clear indication that you should be calling very close to what is suggested in Nash. We tend to play slightly tighter than Nash as a call anyway, which is, I think, a good strategy. But what is truly, truly hilarious is, despite the fact that almost all of the known regs that we play against are, despite the fact that they are shoving something like maybe 10% more than GTO, that doesn't mean that they're shoving wider than Nash. It just means that they're defaulting to push fold before playing a more mixed strategy. Which means that they have to play close to Nash, basically. Despite the fact that all of their statistics do trend in that direction, the closer that we call to Nash, the more frequently that we end up dominated. It's like a complete anomaly. It's blowing my mind. Like, actually went in and confirmed with science that our opponents are shoving the correct range, and when we call with the correct range in response, the frequency at which we're dominated is just ludicrous. This genuinely might be a very clever move. I'm tempted. But we're not going to do it today. We're not going to do it today. Against the reg with the notes. Okay, fine. And we are going to put in a standard size ISO. This is obviously not a very good flop. Let's start with this. If we hit an ace or a king on the turn, we can do something wacky. Ace queen, we are at 8. I think we can still sneak in a trap here. Snaps. No good on the trap. Pair of sevens. Don't think we can fold yet, unfortunately, against a reg. Yes. This is an interesting river. We started the hand at 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Honestly, this might be a reasonable call down if he shoves river. Part of the reason being that he's not going to shove a 10 in most cases here in this situation. Just make this 3. Try and claw back some big blinds that way. Trap the ace-9 suited here for sure. Calling jams. We're shoving against the 2.5x here. Queen 10 suited, I don't believe is meant to be an ISO here. That's a lie. What am I talking about? That was perfect. Oh! 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 Wait. 3.5 big blinds, pocket queens? Sure. Three and a half big blinds. And he has queens. When we have ace-7 for 3.5 big blinds. It's actually just blowing my mind. I don't get it, guys. I don't understand. We obviously missed that chapter because we do not get card distribution that looks like that for it's only it's only 3.5 big blinds, but the way that the blinds move in this game, it's fuckloads of chips. It's fuckloads of chips. And chips is what we play for in this game, right? Chips are important. In this situation, our opponent is all in for 220 chips in a game where we start with 900 total between all players. So 220 chips going in with queens has a substantial impact on our profitability in chips. Because we're not counting big blinds, we're counting chips. And if every single time our opponent has us dominated for the last 3 or 4 big blinds in a 2x or 3x multiplier, it's still like 25% of the chips in play, or 30% or 40% of the chips in play. It's absolutely ludicrous. All right, chat, lock in. Let's go. Let's get some decent multipliers going here. Let's try and get some chips in. We are going to stop complaining now. We're just going to play. That's really good D, though. Just shove it, Printle. Just shove it. What's up, Lawler? Good to see you, mate. Mr. Lawler, are you excited for Las Vegas? In fact, are you already in Las Vegas? We spoke about this recently. I forgot, though. I know that we're going to be in Vegas at the same time. I am jazzed about Vegas. Now, as a place, I feel like Vegas is failing. It's a failing enterprise. I feel like as a city, Vegas has made some very, very poor decisions of late, and I think it's going to be very costly for them in the long run. But I'm really excited to go see everybody. I'm excited to be there, and I really just want to be out in the desert. I don't know what it is. I do have a bit of an affinity for the desert. Like, I like the idea that we're in the middle of a literal, like, Death Valley situation. You know what I mean? What was this? Hello. Hello, sir. What are we doing? Limp Jam versus 1/3. 9 effective heads up. Oh, was. Jack 4 off. Okay, go again, go again, go again. Thank you for the good lucks, man. Looking forward to seeing all my poker buddies. I'm actually traveling out there with a decent number of poker buddies anyway, as it is. A couple of my friends are coming along with the Hippodrome Casino as well. But, you know, going to see Lawler a little bit. Going to see Brandon a little bit. If you guys know Brandon, our VIP manager at Stars. Until recently, he was our top VIP manager. I think we're going to do this. And then we're going to play like the king of poker. We will play like the king of poker. Some of my American poker buddies who I never see on the Euro circuit. I would love to rail somebody going deep in a in an event as well. Well, interestingly enough, I think we're going to play this as a call. I will check raise this flop, however, if we do see a bet here. I think. I think check call might be better on this river. If our opponent turns up with the king of clubs or the ace of clubs, I might quit poker forever. Well, I guess that's it, guys. Time to hang up the old hat. We had a good run. Poker is over forever now. Quitting. How do we play this hand so fucking well? It's absolutely absurd, dude. We play this hand so well. And we just run like this. And I just don't get it. I just don't understand how we've just been on the wrong end of all of these for months now. months. I'm checking because I'm trying to keep literally the king 10, king jack in. I'm checking because we literally have the backup of the third nut flush draw. So we're only at risk to the king of clubs or the ace of clubs. I'm check calling the river and still not losing the max in a situation where I should absolutely be going broke. Like, even when we're getting fucked, I'm still playing the hand well and we're still not being rewarded for it. It's fucking so lame. Oh my god, it's so lame. So there's a couple things at play here. Number one, King of Poker is not going to min-raise into a short stack like this without significant showdown, right? He's going to have hands like King 10 and Queen Jack, maybe. We're obviously blocking those combinations specifically, which means that he will turn up with lots of hands that are not going to generate fold equity, right? So if he min-raises here, this isn't going to be small pairs that are going to fold to a jam. Small pairs aren't going to fold to a jam anyway. He's going to have mid pairs that call, ace-x that calls. He might turn up with king 10 and queen jack sometimes, but the majority of what he has here is not stuff that raise folds. And so the call here obviously plays much better because we have a very playable hand we're not going to fold. But King of Poker is too good of a player to actually have enough raise fold for us to want to consider jamming here, because we're essentially getting it in as a flip, right? The fact that we're taking this multi-way is completely removed by the fact that this guy is all in for his 2 big blinds. So we play the hand heads up regardless. So this is fine. When we arrive here, we recognize that we have the best hand very often. We recognize that a continuation bet is very rarely going to be a bluff because King of Poker isn't going to bluff a side pot. He's too good for that as well. So when we arrive here, we anticipate he will have a draw and or showdown and or a king. And therefore the check raise is very, very good, right? On this turn, having check raised and not raised pre-flop, our range will contain straights and it will contain club draws that have gotten there. We actually have the queen of clubs in our hand. This reduces the number of club flushes that our opponents make. It also makes it a lot more difficult for them to have hands that want to call a second barrel speculatively. And so the check as a trap is superior because also they will end up having hands that we have dominated with the queen of clubs regardless when the draw comes in. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clubs out of the deck out of 13, and it comes a 4 of clubs. We're recognizing that at this point, if he does have a speculative hand he called the check raise with, could contain the ace of clubs or the king of clubs, both of which we lose to, or he can try and bluff us for the side pot for the 8 big blinds and the 6 in the middle potentially. He can also still value bet the 10 of clubs, the jack of clubs if he thinks that's good enough. So we could potentially get him to value cut himself. And therefore we check. This is a work of art, by the way. The 6.9 meme bet is absolutely glorious. This is so funny. King of Poker style points for that. We're obviously never folding the queen of clubs given the speech that I just gave. And we're just here. We're like... Would have been a better play with Jack King off. Yeah, Jack King off would have been better. Cow Chad says, gonna see Cow Chad win a couple $100,000, you know, just a regular trip to Vegas. I mean, that would be good, Cow. Am I gonna see you in Vegas, Mr. Cow Chad? Are you gonna be around at the end of the month? My name is Mike says, get back, he's gonna blow. I mean, the thing is, I'm not angry. I'm just so frustrated. When I go on tilt, I don't get angry. I don't feel like I need to lash out aggressively or like I'm like pissed off with a specific person or like a specific dealer. That's like not my nature at all. I just am so bored of running like this. And it's just really frustrating when we're making good decisions. And like every time we seem to get a little bit of a runway going, we're just not winning anything at Showdown this year. This has happened in the past, don't get me wrong. But as somebody with a long time pretty poor record in the red line department, I've never seen a blue line this bad over what is a reasonable sample? Like we're playing over 3,000 games now. 3,000 games, and like the bit where we get to showdown is just abysmally low. Doesn't feel very fun right now. And you know what they say, guys? When the fun stops, just flat, just completely flat. I mean, obviously up and down, but ultimately point A to point B. 10,000 chips at Showdown over 3,000 games. $3,000 games times 300 starting stacks. So far, guys, this is the number of chips that we've been given in starting stacks. Right? We've played 3,000 games. We usually start with 300 chips. Sometimes it's a little bit more, but even if we get the smallest estimate, this is the total number of chips that we've been given to start games. So every time we sit down, we get 300 chips or more. So we've had at least 900,000 chips been given to us in our stack. And we've only managed to win 10,000 chips. 10,000 chips at Showdown so far this year. This isn't EV. This is literal Showdown. The 6.9 bet is so good, Poker Bros. 900,000 chips have been given to us, guys. Imagine you sat down at a blackjack table and you made 900,000 $1 bets. And we've won 10,000 this year. Let's take a look at last year. Goes like this. Goes up. Goes up. Goes here, and then it goes do 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 do. Oh, little drop. Do 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 do. No, we can't lose. Do 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 do. This is last year, and it goes up. Ed K says, don't quit before Vegas. Good point. Good point. Well, on that basis, Ed K. You're right. We can't quit before Vegas. Ed is absolutely right, you guys. He makes a good point. Let's continue. Poker Bros says, I told you, Nick, we need to sacrifice Strags to the poker gods in order to undo switch you. It's the only way. You're right, it's the only way. How do I have 8 notifications on this Discord right now? Oh. Chat said I should be. I got the 9-game mix on the 17th. 20th mix big. 27th though. When do you get to Vegas? Because I see an opportunity for you to win a bracelet. I will be there on the 26th to the 4th. I think an appropriate beginning, Nick, would be to use the /warn feature on Strag. He'll get the warning in chat next time he comes into stream. You leave him the message, let me run good immediately. He'll have to acknowledge it before he can chat again. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea, mate. The 1K tag team. Yeah, I think probably I'll end up playing mostly cash in Vegas anyway. I know that seems a bit weird, but I think that it makes sense for me this trip. I've got a bunch of family coming to visit as well, so the tournament structures, the tournament life doesn't work nicely around that kind of thing. I would say probably Bluff Turn, Bluff River. Reg v Reg, we're not folding Jack 10. Watch this chat, it's gonna be amazing. I don't know why that doesn't work sometimes, it's really annoying. Not ideal. Always running into aces, is it, guys? Cow Chad said, can't talk. Cow Chad says, cash is being a bit dry so far, hoping it picks up, but all the closures in the past few years have left a very few rooms that aren't saturated with rec. That's so true, man. That's so true. You are absolutely right there. I think I'll probably make a trip down to Golden Nugget. I really like playing cash there. It's obviously not the fanciest. It's not the fanciest room, but it has good games in my experience. Plenty of action. It just completely blows my mind that Las Vegas is struggling to keep card rooms open. For me, it just doesn't make any sense. The 10 might be good, obviously. I think folding is out of the question. There is a question mark as to whether or not we want to get the rest in now. We are ahead of a fair number of draws that they could be semi-bluffing here. Let's call and then we'll reassess. We'll do this one for review. I'm going to take a look at this one later on, guys. That's an interesting turn. Double flushing boards are interesting. I think that changes things somewhat. Our friend turned up here with pocket eights, by the way. But yeah, Kyle, what I would say generally is the cash games that are nearest to the current World Series of Poker, I believe, will probably be very reg heavy, but also just like massively understaffed given the circumstances right now, with like obviously the card rooms everywhere being so full up with tournament poker. I think going to Fremont Street is the way, because you're still going to get a lot of the. I mean, you're probably going to get way more tourists down at Fremont Street, because all the poker tourists are going to want to be near to the series, and all of the sharks who are trying to catch the tournament players trying to play cash will be like, in Bellagio. So I'm thinking probably Fremont Street would be a great shout. Just get a little Uber downtown, hang out there most of the day. Oh. Oh. I'm going to check raise this flop. Am I? Am I going to check raise this flop? Am I going to check raise this flop? No. Interesting. Prince goes big on the turn. We have the club flush draw. I'm assuming calling here is still going to be best. I really wish we could make a flush once in a while. I am interested to see what he turns up with on this river. Full pot turn does feel like it could be a decent number of draws. Having clubs in our hand, probably not ideal. Like, I'm not really sure if we're allowed to fold, but it's Full pot turn is an interesting prospect. I mean, do you full pot this turn with aces or ace king? It feels more draw heavy, right? I'm also not sure that full pot is the size that we use there at all, but I could be. Maybe. That's definitely a maybe. I think we got to keep this one balanced. And we'll go for 2 barrels like this. With the jack deuce, maybe not actually. The queen is not a great river, but we will be calling a river bet, I guess. Okay, so... Okay. Orleans one of the best. Oh, that's a good point as well, Bras. Actually, yeah. I mean, I've been seeing some stories coming out of the cash games there, and it's shocking. Honestly, shocking. Genuinely shocking stuff. It doesn't surprise me that Vegas card rooms struggle when the rake is so low compared to the EU. Maybe for Vegas, more rake is better. No, I don't think it's anything to do with that. I just think they're not. They're doing so much of the rest of the casino wrong that they're just not getting enough footfall. What a run out here. What a run out. Oh, it was the 3 outer on the turn. That makes sense. Oh. We are going to shove ace-8 here, I think. Probably a reasonable... No, this is fine. We are out of position. 4 and a deuce. King 8 of spades. King high, interesting prospect here. I'm actually going to... Oh yeah, okay. Flush draw. Okay, so the checking range here. Like this. We definitely would semi-bluff like this. So let's keep it balanced there. And 8-7 is going to be pretty close to between push and limp and all sorts. As an adjustment here. No. We will limp the queen 8 suited. If he shoves, we're going to have to call, though, against the reg. We dominate a lot of the queen X jams that shove here, also some of the suited connectors as well. This is almost definitely going to be a limp call versus the non-all-in size. And we shan't be folding. We shan't be folding here. We can still get a considerable number of continuation bets to fold here, right? He'll have a bunch of air that has equity. He will have ace combos like ace queen as well, like ace queen of hearts. Obviously really sucks for him here. So let's do this to generate fold equity as well. And here's the limp. Okay, so this is an interesting spot now. I think we take a flop with Jack 9 more often. Okay, Reg v Reg will take the push here. Same again. This is just something we do every time. We're not gonna worry about the outcome. We're just gonna play the hand as we should. $100 feels good, much better. Just bear with me for a sec, guys. I want to just grab something really quick. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Cool. Cool. Okay, I like that. All right, $100. Yes. Sorry, bros. I was saying I don't think it's a rake issue in the slightest. The casinos in Vegas are so ginormous, and they have the opportunity to be so wildly profitable that I really do not like. The majority of what happens inside of that casino should be to keep punters in the casino, obviously, in cash. Tournament and cash poker is a great way to do that. Now, this is an interesting spot, guys. Our opponent min-raised pre-flop. They did not c-bet the flop. I feel like we probably have to call for 3. I think we're just beating too much. I wouldn't be surprised if he just turns up with king queen of diamonds here, king queen of clubs, sorry, just to be annoying. But you know, if he has an ace here and he checks the flop, we're going to make a note about this in future, and we're probably going to learn from it. Am I surprised that he raises an ace and then checks it on the flop as a trap? No, it's not weird, but definitely unconventional and something we should look out for. That's fine. Definitely felt value heavy. There we are. Okay, nice hands. We got the note for next time. I don't think we're going to fold eights here in a 3x multiplier. The min 3-bet here obviously can be all sorts, usually a sign of extreme strength, but like based on what we just saw, I think this is fine. Okay, we'll make a note for this too. Again, am I surprised that the min 3-bet turns out to be aces? Not at all, but you know, if we default to the fact that we think this guy is in a category of players that can do all sorts of weird stuff, and then we can confirm that, that's fine. Pocket eights is very, 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 very high up. In fact, let's actually do this a bit more. Let's call it 15. Cool, nice hand, very good. Aces into eights again, by the way. Just another pair over pair situation for Nick. Pure Gill says, yo, been at work, how are we doing? We're doing all right. We're doing a little bit better today. We've won some EV. We're actually winning a few bucks here too. We're just trying to recover from this downswing that we've experienced this month so far. I'll show you the graph if you want. We are trying to recover. Now remember, this is chips. So in dollars, we're still $625 down. But we are slowly getting into reasonable chip territory. This isn't reasonable yet, but we're heading in that direction. And we are recovering some of the dollars that we have been struggling to aggregate here in the meantime. Not running good though, still. We've won a few all-in encounters, which is a nice treat, but A6 is going to be close here. I think this is good enough. Yeah, okay. Let's take the spot. I'm going to mark this one for review. I think in these situations, this is going to be appropriate, despite the fact that we're always dominated. Cool. Yeah, we'll mark that one for review. Interesting spot. I think we're doing okay with A6 here, basically, is what I'm saying. The other thing I would add there is that the investigation that I've done into the frequencies indicates players defaulting to lots of shoves from that position and actually taking out a lot of the min raises, which means he's going to be skewed more towards the middle of his range rather than the top. Kings, three ways. It's nice. It's a nice spot. All right, this is going to be a big ISO hand, I think. And the KT here at this stack depth is going to be fine to limp. We're calling a shove if we need to. Thank God you didn't quit the game after that King 10. True, Gilly, true. Look at how tenacious I am. Look at how incredibly tenacious I am. Nice. Mark the King 10 here as well. I'm about 92% positive this is fine. All right, we'll mark that one for review. As I said, I am about 93.5% sure that this is GTO. That guy is definitely a reg as well. All right, $100. This is where we do it, chat. This is where it all comes back, baby. Right here, Ace King of Hearts. Going for a full 3x steal against El King of the Pokers. There's a few chips in this game as well to be won if we can get it right. Top pair, 7 of spades. What could go wrong? What could go wrong, chat? Sorry, Tony. I've been missing your messages, mate. It was a win. Maybe it's because it was the first casino I played at, but I like the Casino de Orleans. I have fond memories of that place. It's not particularly nice. It's a bit run down these days, unless they've updated it recently. But yeah, I mean, everything needs a taxi. Everything needs a taxi. In El Vegas. Oh, nice. Pair of twos. We got a pair of deuces against the King of Poker. And we're not folding. Interesting turn. Interesting turn. If we don't lead, I anticipate the King of Clubs to be a fairly frequently bluffed turn anyway. So the question is whether or not he is going to triple. If we think that this is a heavily bluffed turn, the call is better. And on the river, I guess we're going to check. And if we call a shove, we're going to pray he doesn't have a club flush. That would be ideal, right? That would be good. No club flush would be good. The King of Poker plays his hand, in my opinion, very well. That triple, I think, is class A textbook. Here's a good indication of my character, and here's a good indication of the truth and the advocacy of what I said earlier about being frustrated in poker. I'm not somebody that gets angry at dealers. I don't even get particularly angry at players when they're being lucky and all that kind of stuff. That's not my jam. I don't believe in all that shit. And I just, generally speaking, don't sign off on the idea that being mean to people at a table is a cool thing to do. The king of poker has been kicking my ass pretty much since we came up to the 25s, possibly even at the 10s. I don't remember. And I'm still very respectful. I think the guy plays great. Guy plays a ton of volume. Seems incredibly solid. Like mondo solid poker. Very impressive. And I just, I can't bring myself to hate him as much as others would. But I won't. Tenacious indeed. Bad for me, though. I thought for sure the OnlyFans was finally happening. I'm saving up for the feed pics. The OnlyFans can happen during the poker career. We don't need to poo-poo the OnlyFans just because I'm still streaming. $100 jam here would be nice. NickWalshTV, aka the new king of poker. You said it. I didn't. Jack 9 is definitely going to send here against the reg for $100. You can still call with 10-9 suited here. 10-9 suited call would be nice. Ace 4 is very, very reasonable. This is the other component, guys, is the regs who play. Alex Chav is definitely another solid reg. The regs that play, and this is almost definitely down to distribution because the math ain't mathing here. I've done the math, guys. Our opponents never seem to have the bottom of their calling range when they call, which could be an indication that they don't call enough, theoretically. And they seem to always have the top of their jamming range, which is not mathematically possible because I've seen their shoving ranges and they're doing it more than GTO. So they must have Nash plus. In situations such as that, such as this, 6.6 big blinds, 10-9 suited, definitely a call. 8-7 suited, definitely a call. 8-9 suited, definitely a call. Hands that we're doing well against basically are in that range, but I don't think our opponents find it, which is technically good for us because if they're overfolding, we should win more at non-showdown. It's problematic when they always have aces because people don't like to fold aces pre-flop, believe it or not. Okay, this is good. This is something. This is progress. This is very progressive. This is very, very progressive. And I've just been informed that the cash game this evening is going to be rocking. Now, notes. Trap ace king here based on the notes. Trap ace king based on notes. Okay, that works. If I knew that this guy was going to blast off like that, being in more pots is better for us. Ace. Nice hint. And that's very fair. Winning pots at Showdown feels so good. I love to win pots at Showdown because it feels so good. Got to work on that. Got to work on that track. And against the reg, blind be blind, 8-9C. Let's go. Orleans is still ran down. I mean, look, I'm okay with that. I honestly think that rundown casinos are a bit of a feature rather than a. They're a bit of a feature rather than an issue, because I think rundown casinos tend to attract a certain level of poker player of which it is advantageous to play against. Same goes for the Golden Nugget. I think the Golden Nugget might have got a little facelift recently, but I'm not up to date on that stuff. Yeah. We shan't be folding King Jack of Hearts, guys. The longer these streams go on, the more I lounge. It's a good thing I got this fancy camera to follow me around. Oh, wrong way, camera. There we go. Just so you guys can see me cringing in full HD. Max says, what's the lowest stakes they have in Vegas? Is it 1-2 still the minimum? I'm not sure. I think so. I'd say maybe 1-3. I feel like last time I was there, 1-2 was available. Like, the poker rooms were never really meant to be a massively like money spinning operation. As soon as you rake a cash game, you do make significant money, but you need a decent dealer, and the dealers are expensive and blah, blah, blah. I'm actually going to trap this. Unbelievably so. This is going to be an unbelievable trap. And you guys are going to be so impressed with the outcome. You guys are going to be so, so, so impressed. Great little river there. Great little river. How impressed are you guys going to be by this? Very impressed. Sensational poker, Nick. Well done. Really, really fancy stuff. That feels so much better. This feels so much better. We're winning some all-ins. It feels good. That feels so good. Run it. Run it. I said run it. We're calling a jam here if we need to. These regs ain't loyal. These regs so loyal. Come on, Ace Jack. Come on, put the chips in. Put it in. I think the tide might be turning here, Chad. It might be too soon to say, but it does feel like we're starting to feel a little bit like we're on the right side here. I feel like we might be on the right side of the fence all of a sudden, and it's really, 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 really fun. It feels liberating. Genuinely liberating. DK is asking, do you play much live poker in the UK? I do, yeah. I wouldn't say loads. I'd like to play more. I play live cash games here in Brighton often. It comes in dribs and drabs. Obviously, I travel a lot for work. Working as a PokerStars ambassador, I spend a lot of time on the road doing commentary for our live events. I do a fair amount of streaming. On the days that I stream, I tend not to play. I'll be playing this evening, for example. I will be playing cash this evening. And in live tournaments, not nearly as much. I'm not a huge tournament lover as it is. I much prefer playing cash. I would like to try and play more in general, but when I travel for work, I tend to be doing commentary on the poker, and therefore tournament poker is kind of out of the question for the most part, especially the big events. And then the cash aspect is a lot more forgiving, right? In the time department, I can jump into a cash game, jump out, whatever. But I go through phases. Sometimes I'll play cash a couple times a week here in Brighton or London or whatever. I think we're probably going to do this still, yeah. We'll call it jam here if we need to. De oro, de oro, de oro. I'm gonna try and maybe play like Goliath this year, and you know, maybe some stuff up at Asper's or whatever it's called, genting at Stratford. That'd be fun. Okay, nice spots here overall though. We're not winning the all in, but we're putting the chips in good. That feels good. Queen 10 for sure. Gonna just jam here. De oro. Oh, yeah. See, chat? You see what happens? You see this? This is a good call. Jack 10's a good call. We have the dominating hand. This is great. It feels great that your opponents have to call with trash sometimes and not the top of their range. Jack 10, mandatory call there versus Reg. He's made the right decision, but he doesn't get the EV. He's not going to steal the EV this time. Tom says, I think it's mostly 1-3. I wouldn't be surprised. I think that's also an inflation thing as well. It's not just like they want to increase rake or whatever. 1-3 and 1-2 play very similarly anyway. Tony says 1-2 is still available. I'm pretty sure 1-2 at like Orleans and the smaller casinos makes sense anyway. I think there's a rule where like if you play 1-3, you're allowed to do like side games or something. Maybe that's just a UK rule. Max says, when are you going to play on the Hippo stream? I actually played on it a couple weeks ago. There was a really interesting hand I played actually. I don't want to spoil it for you, but I played The stream from the day I went to London to see Strag. I played on the 15th of May. I wasn't up there to play, and actually it was a pretty bad lineup to play against because the guys are really good there, obviously. But check it out, 15th of May. See, King Jack of Clubs raise call, very reasonable. We get the EV though. We're actually allowed to get a little EV here. We are suddenly EV allowed. This is suddenly plus EV. What I would say is the guys were lovely. I had a really nice time. It was nice actually chatting to those guys. I've done commentary on those guys several times and not met many of them face to face. Game was awful in the sense that it was good fun, but it was obviously against very good players, very guys who I've watched play poker who I think are very, very good. I played a couple very interesting pots. I think I played really well overall. And if you wanted to watch it, I'm not gonna spoil it for you. You can take a look if you want. Okay, back to Kings. Heart. Okay, let's go. Okay, the tides are turning. Play more poker. Next game, please. We just unlocked a chest as well. Now we are heading in a direction that I think is more reasonable. Is Kings reasonable? It's not reasonable. However, Tony says it would be great if Vegas did 6 max sit and goes, top 2 cash. That way, flat fee doesn't take too long for those. Yeah, so I'm with you in spirit, Tony, because I really like the idea of that. Should we go to town? I mean, I'm kind of feeling myself all of a sudden. Let's do something weird. Let's do something weird here, chat. Okay, is this screaming I have a strong hand to you guys? Can we make 7 deuce work for us somehow? I guess we're jamming. He can still call us with an 8, but he's not giving me 8 or 10 vibes here. Okay, there you go. We are absolutely on the money as usual. Absolutely bang on the money. Absolutely smack dab slam on the money. We absolutely know this our guy has fuck all here. We've absolutely drilled the read. We've played our hand to perfection, and our opponent isn't going to fold king queen. So we need to just remember that for next time. Comedy right here. Comedy. First and foremost, this is the easiest note to look at. Fair play, nice hand. Fair play, nice hand. Well done, buddy. I'm perfectly happy with this line. I am absolutely 100% perfectly happy with the way we play this hand. And we have absolutely drilled the read. Didn't have a king. Sorry, didn't have a 10. Didn't have an 8. Didn't have anything. Didn't have any hand. Nice hand, sir. Sorry, Tony. I was saying I'm with you in spirit about the sit and go thing. Generally, the stop-start nature of a sit and go is not good for the casino. Waiting for people to come and like fill seats and like waiting for the game to start and all that. Like you need a line of people to come and play, and then as soon as you do have a line, unless you have a couple tables running where you can fill the line right away, and then obviously you have the same problem again. People register and then they leave and they walk away, and it's like a whole ball ache. And like the dealer's time is, if you have a dealer that's dealing constantly cash, they're always generating revenue, and if they have to stop and start, it's just a waste. It doesn't work in practice. Hey, Double Buddha, what's up? Gracious Grinder Nick is back. Hello, mate. How are you? I'm good. How are you? Welcome to the stream. Tony says, lol, the king queen call is exactly why your 7 deuce play was so correct. Exactly. Exactly. We just got outplayed. Yeah, you can lead a horse to water, absolutely. Ollie Peck. I feel like I know Ollie Peck. That's right. I run so bad. My 7 deuce never beats king high. Five big blinds in a dream. All right, queen 6. This is a 2x multiplier. Let's just play this. 2x multis acquire aggression. Winning all-ins feels really good, guys. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It feels fantastic. Feels really good. Feels really, really, really good. Getting called by queen 4 of spades feels good. Hitting the 6 feels good. Cool. Next game. Max says, next Vegas question. Does anywhere have a designated heads up table, or does that have to be arranged? I don't know of anywhere that is a always a heads up table, always available. I would say you have to arrange that. In order to arrange something like that, you would probably have to speak to the card room manager, and you probably have to be playing for a lot of money, or you would have to be playing for whatever stakes you wanted, and you have to tip the dealers like a lot. I don't know. I'm not absolutely sure about. I'm not sure what the policies would be. I think they're usually happy to facilitate that, assuming that they get money for it, basically, which, I mean, I guess, the idea being, if you were playing for enough money that a small amount of money would be the equivalent, like small rake, then that would be cool for you. But if you're playing for small money and you have to tip them a ton of money, then you might as well just do it at home. Straight aces, lovely. Okay, cool. We started this hand at 13.5 bigs. Yeah, this is totally fine. Ace 8 jam textbook. What do they have, guys? Aces? Oh, okay. How many times have we run into aces today? Yep. Textbook. Textbook. Fucking aces. Are you kidding me, dude? Max says makes sense. It would be cool to get a little tournament going. Like, again, the same thing. I think if you spoke to them ahead of time and you said, I want to do sit and goes with my buddies, I think you're good. But like, there's a big difference between them offering that as like a service. Like, there's a hybrid, right? So kind of like what Tony was suggesting, but like something that might work better. If I was a card room manager and people wanted to play sit and goes, you basically have to have one dealer spare. That dealer also could come from the floor. So it could be the case that they are working on a blackjack table, but they also know how to deal poker, and then you get them off of that. You know, if they're at a loose end, they close the table or whatever, they come over and deal that. What you could do is have cash games running consistently or solidly or whatever the right phrase is. And then you say, right, if you and 6 other people, or you and 5 other people, sorry, if you guys all arrive and you're ready to go right now and you're not messing around, we'll get you a dealer, we'll deal a game, and we have a way to set up this sit and go very rapidly. So maybe you already have some trays ready with all the chip stacks, you have a set structure, you're not going to debate on that. You can go, if you guys are ready to go and you're all here, let's do it. Boom, let's go play a game. And then you guys can run more if you want to, or whatever, dribs and drabs, blah, blah, blah. Having one dedicated table, I think, like I said, it just doesn't work. Over time, you just end up. Over time, if you're successful, there's going to be a queue around the block, and that means that loads of people are pissed off because they're waiting on a game, and then they bust in the first hand. That's awful experience. Or they register and they go missing, or they say they'll register and then they don't register when you need them. Or you get there early and you're like, hey, the game started at like 4 o'clock the other day, and then you arrive and then the games don't run. It's fraught with issues like that. Tony says, like most things, if you have the money, you can arrange a heads-up table in Vegas. A lot of rooms have VIP tables. Yeah. And like there are like completely VIP rooms, right? Like if you went to Resorts World or Bellagio, they have private rooms where all sorts of nonsense can happen if you got the money. Generally speaking, the people that do that aren't just playing high stakes because like that's the only way they can get a game. It's like they're playing high stakes because they're trying to make it worth the money for, you know, to pay for the room or to get to bribe the staff to let you do something funny. Yeah, 10-9 is definitely the right call here. Cool. Against this player, let's play this one slow. Now that we're heads up. Okay, let's see if we can win a couple extra chips here. I think this one's just too pure. Let's just play the jam. And Jables is good. Oh, no, not the walk. If we can get more walks, that would be good in general, but we're gonna limp ridiculously shallow. We're gonna play one of these games here. Never mind, this guy seems pushy all of a sudden. Trapping 9s is good, though. Here we go. 67%. Good trap. Good trap, good trap, good trap. All right, let me update my total. We just unlocked a $125 chest. And this was the 10th of the 6th, 2026. Good. Okay, more. We've actually got some rake back coming our way as well, which is great. Very, very good for the BR. Hello, Rick Dolph. Ace 10 diamonds is a good hand. A very very good hand. Power One, thank you for the follow. We're calling a shove here if we need to. We made second pair. We made second pair, chat. I'm debating whether or not we call a shove. I think the value bet's too. He's going to have a 10 here quite often. He calls us with a 7, in fact. That's good. That's also good. Cool. I'm actually doing well. Thank you, Nick. I just came home from a vacation yesterday. Did you know that since we talked a couple of years ago, I changed my focus to trading and it took a while, but I'm doing really well and loving the competition on the stock market. May, honestly, I'm genuinely very interested in doing something similar these days. I have a buddy who joins us on stream sometimes. He is very, very, very much into his trading. He is very, very much into his trading, and it seems super interesting, especially with the modern tools that people have to trade with these days. I'm going to make a note on the ace-9. If he shoves, we call regardless, so we're not really changing anything here. I would say that this line is probably going to cost him a significant amount, though. Limp shove BVB 8 effective was ace-9 suited. This is not approved. This is gonna get him into a ton of trouble. I'm glad you're doing well though, and I'm glad you're enjoying the trading. I think that I had a conversation with my buddy about this as well, because he was keen to play more poker, and he was sort of asking me about, you know, what's possible in terms of profitability and stuff. And it's like, I think that poker is an interesting one, because if you enjoy the challenge of poker, you can play for profit and you can play and be a profitable player. Absolutely. However, as you scale, as you go up into higher stakes, the problem that you encounter, which maybe I wouldn't really consider that much of a problem necessarily. It depends how you think on it. The issue that you encounter is that the higher you play, theoretically, the better the quality of the players are. And so there's sort of diminishing returns. Whereas if you're good at paper trading for a small amount of stocks, you have to scale pretty big before the amount that you're trading is going to have any real impact on the overall market. And therefore, like, you know, scaling trades larger will have a very similar return on investment to the small scale trades, right? So if you buy 10 shares of something and then you trade it appropriately and you make 20%, you can buy 100,000 of the same shares and you're still gonna end up with the same outcome, right? But I would love to get into that as well. It does seem like a lot of fun. I feel like it would be a great challenge as well. I've played a lot of poker, obviously, in my time. So going into something completely fresh like that does have a certain appeal. There's a chance he missed his straight or his hearts. There is a chance he missed a straight or hearts. Interesting. mark the Jack 7 offsuit here. I'm pretty sure this is fine, but these late game hands just cost us so much. It's fucking crazy. Your diminishing returns in trading is going to be seasonality and conditions very similar to sitting down on tables with all their eggs. Max says, I'm a trader first, found poker after. If there's one thing I've learned when I say I'm done trading for the day, it saves me money moving to poker even if I have a losing session. Wise words. Wise words. It's annoying. We actually find one of these late game 10-5 domination situations and we're still no good. Should be pretty advantageous for us here. All right, $100. We know Dennis. Dennis is a friend of the stream. Colo, we don't know. Colo from the United Kingdom, apparently. Okay, not the best flop, but there is potential here. Oh, snap check, apparently. Also factor in the headlines. Right, sorry, but that's still not the seasonality and the news affecting trade outcomes and stuff like that. That's not to do with diminishing returns. Diminishing returns is the concept that I really want to make a straight here, guys. One sec. I really want to make a straight. There we go. Okay, he snap checks the turn, so he's not crazy strong. I think a 6 or an 8 probably still calls half pot, though. He's all in. Nice. He calls us with a 6 here, so good sizing here, I suppose. So diminishing returns in the sense that you can play the same hand of poker at 1-2, and you're not going to have the same outcome if you're playing it at 50-100, right? The way that players approach that situation is different. The skill level is different. Your edge is significantly reduced if you're playing against very good players, blah, blah, blah. Whereas if you make the same paper trade under the exact same circumstances, same conditions, the same seasonality, the same news, right? If you trade the same spot for a small number of shares, it's exactly the same if you trade it for a large number of shares in the same proportions. There's obviously variance and unexpected things like you're describing, but what I'm saying is that if he gets better at trading, he can trade with a higher bankroll and have very similar outcomes. All things, remaining the same. That's so true. I learned that I have underestimated consistency and resilience a lot in my life. I learned that I have underestimated consistency and resilience a lot in my life before it took a long time for me to really understand those concepts. And I always evaluate on my mood. No matter how skilled I get, I will always lose with poor mentality. That's very, very true in all things, yeah. Twitch Beats, thank you for the follow. If they played WoW, they would know about diminishing returns. There you go. World of Warcraft, still the best. I say the best. I mean, probably was the best MMORPG ever. Still going. All right, $100. Let's make this work somehow. Definitely a call. Come on, we're running good now. We're running good now, chat. King Queen, 1000% a call there. We actually dominate a fair number of the jams as well, which makes that particularly good. Don't recognize the player on the left. I'm playing right now at work off of a USB. All right, well, enjoy. The Does He Ever Lose riff makes me want to listen to some Parkway Drive. Do it! Just do it, Jakers. We have a few hands to cover and review here today, guys. We'll probably wrap on the game soon. We have managed to turn our month around pretty significantly here in EV. We're still down dollars, but that's obviously outside of our control to a certain degree. King 4, limp call. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good, mate. Very good. Limp. Call. Jam. Button. Multi-way. 8 effective. Was King 4 off. Still 6 big blinds to make this work somehow. We can definitely make this work. This might be a bit too wide. I think it's fine. 3x multiplier. Let's go. Wow. Okay. 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 Omega punting. Can we get the chips in good again? Can the Don beat an ace high twice? Get out of the way, Alex. I want to do a thing. Get out of the way. Watch this, guys. Watch this. He can't beat us twice, chat. We're going to call a jam if we need to here. Wish me luck. Get there. Oh, yeah. That feels good. Nice. Tony says, the only time I bought shares was the pets at home in lockdown. Made a little bit. I want to get into it more. I find the whole thing very interesting. I'm absolutely certain that I don't need more stress in my life, which it probably is going to add, but there we are. Sicarius, what's up? Most people playing hardcore. I mean, yeah, hardcore. Hardcore WoW is very serious. It is a good name, isn't it, Mac? I'm a fan. Straight draw. Come on, bro. We're blocking the hearts. The king shouldn't really make a difference unless he has king 7 or king 8. Let's go for it. KT. When I go on downswings and trading, I play more poker. When I'm running hot, I don't play much. I really enjoy it. You'll... Oh, this is a nice treat. Nice. You'll balance both just fine, or maybe I'm an enabler. No, I'm sure it'll be fine. Like I think the majority of the trading that I'll do will be quite speculative anyway. It's not. I don't think it's not going to be like the. It's not going to be an overwhelming session. At least not to begin with. That's what I said about poker. Come on, live cards. 4 spade. 2 live cards in the entire universe, and we can't get there. Let me mark that queen 7 of spades, because I'm only 99% sure that we're jamming that hand 100% of the time. We're calling a shove here if we need to as well against the reg. Now this is a pretty darn nice flop. Let's have a bet. Come on, Alex. You can't overfold. You got to defend your hands appropriately. Now, the turn is a card that I would usually bet as a bluff, and it would probably be very effective, particularly on this texture. I think the check on the turn is really good to try and let him catch up a little bit when we hit a spade or something, but also to try and get some more value from the 5 and the tray on a later street. If our opponent rivered an offsuit straight here, I'm going to be so angry. We're going for value, though. He's going to call us with a 5. It's going to be so cool. Okay, I'll tell you what. If this guy rivered an offsuit straight without the spades, I might quit poker forever. Got him! That is not a believable line, sir. Absolutely got him. All right. We're going to play maybe 1 or 2 more games, then we'll do some review. And then we'll take a look at our results this month, guys. We are definitely heading back in the right direction. Our tenacity is, I don't want to say paying dividends, but we're not forking out as much as we were before. Go on, give him an ace-5 here. What the fuck? Straight. Yes. 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 Now we are talking. This is a little bit more like what we've been talking about today, chat. All right, now give him. We're gonna give him the moves here. We are about to give this guy the absolute moves. The absolute moves. Can you think of a worse river? For fuck's sake. Please check. Absolute moves. We should have put that guy all in there, by the way. That was a mistake. I misclick here. Queen 7 suited is a shove 100% at 7 big blinds and 8 big blinds is still like 80% small blind versus big blind. I'm shocked! Mac, how does that happen? How do I know the range so well and they always have El Monstro? Oh, by the way, this is seriously noteworthy. Queen high like a boss? This is a limped pot. Queen high like a boss. It's okay, you can give up now. We knew he was bluffing, chat. Guy has 3.5 big blinds. And he still dominates us somehow. It's just mental. I don't understand how that keeps happening. The guy has 2 big blinds, and he still has a pair that dominates us. I'm honestly not even completely convinced that the randoms just get the setups, so it's easy. Confirmed rigged for anyone that's not Nick Walsh. New strategy. Fold until you're short stacked and then just have a monster every single time there's a 100% jam blind v blind. It's just really sick strat. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be huge. You guys should check it out. All right, let's play one more and then we'll do some review. Got another rematch against these two. Come on now, give us a real multi here. 3x. Okay, 3x multiplier, last game of the day. Let's make it a good one. This could be very good, chap. The button is prepared. Come on. Whatever, dude. Cool. That was fun. All right, cool. Let's take a look at some hands. So first things first, guys, let's take a look at our results this month. The reason I'm pulling out this month is because, like I said, we've been running like pretty bad. So this is a good indication of a fairly reasonable recovery. We ran very far under expectation, and now we are somewhere near expectation. We're still below. We're down $500. We were down about 1,000 this morning, so we're definitely doing something better. And we have now won about 5.7 chips per game. We're still probably significantly far away from where we should be. A lot of this negative EV, as you guys will have seen, is to do with card distribution. Let's take a look at today specifically. I think today's session was very good. Today's session, very good. So we run pretty far above EV. Today's session, we ended up winning 14 chips per game, which is a little bit more respectable. And we won $300. This is obviously, none of this includes our actual rake back as well, guys. We unlocked $125 as well today, which will go into the notes overall. But more sessions like this would be good, and we're definitely going to be heading in the right direction. So let's take a look at this here in chips. A little bit more healthy. Still nowhere near where we need to be. We're still losing a fair amount of money overall in this year. The amount of rakeback we get has offset a fair amount. Got about $1,500 in rakeback so far this year. But it's something, and we're heading in a slightly better direction here, I suppose. If we could have another upswing that looked like this, and we could have another EV boost that looked like this, we would probably not be a million miles away from a reasonable chip EV. The one thing that I have noticed about this new structure, the merged spinning goes, the one thing that I've noticed about tracking your EV overall is small spurts of very successful poker in the EV department does boost your overall EV very rapidly. So even though right now we're about 3,000 games in and our overall chip EV is something like 6 or 7, which is just not good enough at all. If we have another run that looks something like this or like this, it very rapidly goes up to 10 and then 12 and so on and so forth. So once we start to build out of the doldrums here, we're going to do much better. And we will actually get to our target chip EV at a reasonable pace once we get past this, whatever the fuck's going on. So I'm going to finish up there, guys. In fact, no, I'm not going to finish up there. We got to do our review. Hi. Come and join us. Hi. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Just wonderful. We're about to do a really exciting...
Woo!
We're going to do a really exciting hand review. Stream's not over. Don't go anywhere. All right. So, Pocket Kings. Before we do this, guys, let me close up stars so we're all good. We obviously can use the tracker when stars is open and stuff like that. Just want to make sure that's closed. So before we open up anything else, we're not going to get in trouble. So we min raise, fold call. We arrive here. So I do believe that this is a big bet flop. We bet 3. We've already covered this one, haven't we, guys? If you guys hadn't seen this, this is interesting. We bet 3. Our opponent calls. On the turn, we continue betting. We use the... we end up jamming. Oh, is this a different one? Okay, this must be a different hand. Sorry, we played... Oh, I was thinking of the aces hand. Never mind. So 3, call, and then we overbet jam. I think on this turn, it's particularly wet. There's a chance that GTO wants us to bet like 3 big blinds here or something like that. Maybe 4, but let's take a look at the solve and see if we can learn something. So effectively, we jammed on the ace turn. I think when it's this wet, the jam is going to be fine. The EV is probably going to be very good still, but so let's take a gander. Nope, all good. Spot on, 100% accuracy. We're a genius. Cool, job done. Pretty good. All right, ace-8 suited. We have 9 big blinds. We limp. We do a big raise, and our opponent calls. All in a jam. I just want to double check that we are big ISOing ace-8 of hearts. We run into ace-jack, of course. Let's take a look. I think this is pretty much obvious. What else are you going to do? 100% accuracy. We even use the correct pre-flop size, 3.5 big blinds. Would I like a spritzer? Chat. Well, you're gonna show off the wine in a bag and everything, like we're really real class. They've been scathing about this mess that's behind me, and now you're gonna pull out a bag of wine on stream. In fairness, chat, it is actually decent wine. We're becoming much more progressive as a society regarding what wine can go in. I will have a spritzer. What kind of... You got soda? Yeah. Oh, for fuck. Okay, fine. She knows how to get me, chat. She knows exactly. Okay, perfect. We are using the correct dynamic size here, and we're making the correct call, obviously. Good. 9-6 suited. We have a jam, blind, be blind. Look, here's a good one. If this is not a jam, I'll quit poker forever. We're safe again, chat. We've done it once more. I'm looking this up because I just feel like we're always running into it here, obviously. But the one thing that I wanted to look at here, actually, let's take this one step further. Let's not breeze past this one. I want to see the EV of these lines. Now, I am starting to think about additional exploits for the short stack game. I have a theory about some of these spots, and it could prove to be a costly over adjustment. But let's look at the small blind here. So 9-6 suited obviously is a jam. It's not even close. 8-5 suited is a jam. 8-4 suited is a jam. All of this is fine and good. Let's actually take a look at the individual EV of this, though. Yeah, I mean, I would like to do a deeper dive on this another day. If you guys don't know how to read this, on the bottom right, it shows you the combinations. So you have the suited 9-6. The EV of this is 0.2 big blinds. And if we fold, we earn nothing. We get 0 EV. 0.2 is a lot. 0.2 is a ton of EV. Bearing in mind that this is a 7.5 big blinds. We start the hand. If this isn't even the right range, is it? Big blind has 5. No, this is right. This is fine. 6. Yep. So bearing in mind the big blind only has 6 big blinds. 0.2 is the EV of the jam, which means this is going to be a mandatory shove. It's not even close. 0.2 is a lot. However, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. However, the 0.2 is on the assumption your opponent calls correctly, which they never do, which means this actually can, double or triple even. So the shove here, I think, is actually particularly potent, especially at 6 big blinds where we still have fold equity. Now, 9-5 suited, I would think 0.1 is actually probably too much. 0.1 is probably, we still need to take that spot. And that's what the colors are about, right? The green is indicating that it's like there's no contest whatsoever. The deeper shade of red that we get to, the more it becomes either negative and or very slightly positive. So all of these are still too high. 0.1's too high. What I was going to say is I wonder if hands like Queen Deuce off might come out against an unknown opponent. Thank you, darling. You have a nice day in London. You want to come back and drink wine, then I think that's been a good trip. That is delicious. It must be a day of the week. That's right, Tom. Thank you. Thank you for that rude comment. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make here, guys, is that there is probably a day in the near future where I sit down and I look at some of these spots and I try and be like, I think Queen Deuce off can come out here, right? King Deuce, no chance. That's monstrous. The EV of this is 0.45 on average, right? Queen Deuce off as a jam here, I thought would actually perform much better. I thought Queen Deuce would perform better than 9-6, but these are hands that just have a lot more equity when they're called, and therefore the value of them is much greater. That's why 8-7 suited, 6-7 suited is such powerhouse. Because most of the hands that want to call you blind v blind here, you're not gonna be dominated. You're gonna do well. Queen Deuce is often dominated, but also just a high card has value. So I'd like to do more work on some of these finer points because I do think there is an opportunity to take out some. So for example, 4-3 suited technically is going to make 0.01, but that's not enough. There's a threshold not being crossed here. 0.15 is going to be in here still. Yeah, anyway, you guys get my point. I think that there are some blind v blind spots that we can afford to take out against complete unknowns. Against regs, we just take them because there's not really much more edge there anyway. Do we min raise Queen 7 suited here at 14 big blinds effective? I'm pretty sure we do. I'm pretty sure that we do. Let's take a look. We do. Is it down to Queen 6 suited? Button open here. We're looking at strategy. Queen 7 is the cutoff. Very good. So this is 14. Queen 7, Queen 7, Queen 7. All right, so again, this is another goofy one. We shove 5-3 suited for 6-7-ish big blinds. It could be that this one wants to be played as a limp, but I'm pretty sure the jam is going to be standard. Yeah. So just out of interest, let's do that same experiment. 5-3 suited is the push. Completely spot on the strategy that we were discussing. Taking a look at the EV. So, okay. 5-3 suited feels very unnatural. Mathematically actually performs fine as a jam. The jam is theoretically profitable and also theoretically the highest EV move that we can make against the computer. However, Queen Deuce off and 5-3 suited, these are hands that we might consider just taking out completely. The biggest problem that I have with this, because I'm happy to learn this. I'm happy to learn these lessons in spins that will apply to other things where, you know, they're going to have more relevance. But the issue that we encounter is we're playing the fastest poker known to mankind, which has now been made even faster recently. Missing a jam that is profitable in itself, mathematically profitable, undisputed, you can't dispute, will make a profit. Excuse me, with the upside of the fact that your opponent can make more mistakes against the jam, overfold, and you can make even more than you're supposed to, right? I feel like that's a very dangerous thing to play with. If we start to take out hands that are just perfect, not perfect, if we start to take out hands that will profit, I think we run the risk of playing... We find ourselves in a very, very difficult situation often because if we don't take this spot that we know is going to be profitable, where our opponents could make it more profitable with their mistakes, what ends up happening is we end up folding our way into a bad situation where we know that we could have just taken the spot. Now, I'm willing to experiment with the idea that some of these weak queens and some of this absolute, you know, bottom end stuff like 5-3 suited, I'm willing to sort of toy with the idea of taking out the ones that feel the absolute worst. But I would argue that even once we start to get to like Queen 3 off, we're probably already doing ourselves a pretty big disservice, because if your opponent, look at this range, right? Let's say that we're shoving the correct range here. Let's say we're shoving 5-3 suited. This is the way that our opponents are supposed to respond to this jam. And a lot of people are not going to call with all of these hands. A lot of players folding king deuce, a lot of players folding king 3, a lot of players folding queen deuce suited and queen 3 suited and queen 4 suited. As soon as we node lock this where our opponents do not call correctly, the EV of that probably improves pretty significantly. We could actually give that a try if you guys want. Let's give this a go. Let's try a very, very cheap and easy custom pre-flop 2. What were we playing at? We were playing at we're playing at 7. 7 big blinds deep. We have with limps. There's not going to be that many sizes. Confirm. Let's run this spot. Okay. So study. These two ranges should be the same, right? They're almost identical, right? The solver's done a little bit of movement, but that's fine. These two are basically identical. This is wrong. We're going to include raise to 2. So these two are basically the same, right? Close enough. We know that we're looking at kind of the same start. And now in this one, let's assume that we move all in. And now let's node lock this, but we're going to reverse node lock this. So we're going to go backwards. We're going to not lock previous nodes. And we are going to start painting in folds. So let's say that our opponents aren't going to call with the weird ones, right? Let's say that they're not going to call the 9-7s and the 10-7s and the jack-7s and the 8-7s, and maybe they fold some of this stuff. They just are seeing, relatively weak hands. Let's not go too crazy though. Let's take out like the stuff that just, I think people are. Let's take out the stuff that people probably inherently just want to fold most of the time. So now let's assume that their calling range looks something like this, and probably it's actually tighter. Let's apply this. So if we come back here, first of all, our strategy for all in is going to massively increase. The hands that we want to jam when our opponents are calling like this increases massively. But if we take a look at the actual EV of a jam with 5-3 suited, the EV of 5-3 suited has now become 0.35. Right? It was like 0.0. Before it was like 0.02 or whatever. It was tiny, 0.05, whatever the number was. In fact, it's right here, isn't it? The EV of this was 0.06. And taking out just a couple of those combinations, the EV of this is now 0.35. That is a ginormous difference. So generally, I think that we've kind of confirmed that this is a dangerous line of behavior. We've kind of confirmed that this is a very dangerous mode of thought. Because at best, it is guaranteed to have a profitable outcome. No, you know what? At worst, it's guaranteed to have a profitable outcome against a perfect opponent. At best, your opponent can overfold into like absolute oblivion in a very, very small window of time where we have very little time to get hands that are going to be profitable against certain players. So I guess that was a good experiment because we've kind of confirmed that we really don't want to do any adjustment in that spot. So 9 big blinds, we fold jack 7 suited. I believe jack 8 suited is a shove and jack suited is a fold. I just want to confirm this one very quickly. Z says the king X is too optimistic that regs fold. Not regs, mate. Right, sorry, just to clarify if that wasn't obvious. The no luck that we just did was extreme, and also that was fish. That was not. That's not regs. I expect the regs in this pool to play very, very well in these spots. So what we're talking about is a very small edge. The point that I'm trying to illustrate is adjusting to fold some of that stuff against unknowns is a possibility, but now we've basically confirmed that it's just not something we want to do against regs or against unknowns, right? This is the unknown adjustment. Anyway, right in here. Okay, yep, Jack 7 is a fold. Let's just confirm Jack 8 suited is a jam. Let's go back over here into strategy. Jack 8 suited is the jam. Jack 7 suited is not. So we are at 9. 9, 14, 14. Yeah. Interestingly enough, the more connected 10, 7, 9, 7 is. Good to know. We're missing those for sure. We don't do those. So A6, we are limping. Our opponent checks. We bet the flop, they call. We bet the turn, they call. On the river, they have a lead, which I think is unusual, and we flat. I'm just going to double check and see if this all checks out. I would assume this is what we want to do most of the time. On the river, they might want me to do something different. They might consider raising the river, to be honest, but I think against people, this makes sense. So just go through it. Obviously, we can do some raising here as well as some calling. The call is majority. Bet the flop, all good. Turn bet 3, all good. River, this is the point that I was saying. The call is probably better against people. The all-in is definitely an option there. I don't know that people play a 10 this way, which is a hand that we want to get called by. They won't have an ace nearly as often, which is also not important, not good for us. Yeah, I think the call is better against people if I think about it. Sacramento, hello. Denvis says, I think I prefer queen deuce and queen 3 off better than the lower connectors against randoms because of the overfolding. I mean, if they're overfolding, it doesn't matter, right? If it works, it works. Those two, queen deuce and queen 3, might have a similar pre-flop EV, but if they're overfolding, they both have value. The thing to remember, Denvis, is if they're overfolding, technically the suited connectors should perform better, because when they do call, they will have a more linear, strong part of their range. So they basically just go, what hands are literally stronger pre-flop? And your suited connectors will have better post-flop equity. That's why the suited connectors like 8-7 suited actually outperform queen deuce off, because when queen deuce off gets called, your opponents have you dominated more, and 8-7 will still have like 40% equity on average or something, which is huge, because you're almost free rolling them, because what you're saying is, I'm going to go all in and you're going to fold, and when you fold, I win. And when I go all in and you call, we're still flipping, so I basically lose no EV. So it's a much, much higher value. Oh, shit. I did not mean to unmark that. Okay, well, whatever the hand was, I missed it. Just double checking the shoving range here. We fold king 7 for about 8 big blinds. I think king 8 is good enough to shove here, but I think king 7 is a fold. This is the unsuited variety. The suited connectors, the suited kings go in there. Yeah, let's just double check that pre-flop. So king 9 is the cutoff, not king 8. Yeah, that makes sense. You got to be very careful with those. You don't want to include those. The suited kings are still in there, though. Most suited kings will remain in. Yep, nice. Okay, so same spot here. King 8. King 8 for 6. This does feel like it's probably going to be good enough to go. We did make the fold, but I want to double check. I'm pretty sure. King 9 for sure. King 8 maybe. Yeah, we missed a shove here. Just out of interest, let's check the EV on this one as well. This goes down to king 7 now. King 7, again, very, very close. King 8 feels better. Both, again, for the same reasons, I think, go into the shove category. Max says, I'm appreciative of these reviews because I don't have a fucking clue how to use the solver, so these explanation breakdowns are a huge help. Good, mate. I'm glad we're helping. 7-4 suited. We just shove here, and again, I just don't see how we're ever going to miss this spot. We're looking these up because we're frustrated that our opponents keep waking up with monsters when we do this. Perfect play. Yeah, it's no science. It's just a shove. Okay, lots of science, just a shove. So we opted for a raise. This is an infrequent raise, but we rolled low. And once we arrive here, I think a continuation bet of 1/3 makes sense. Once we hit the 10, check, call, mandatory on the river. Let's see what we do. Let's see. I think this is probably good. It's going to say that the pre-flop is rare, though, I believe. Which is fine because we are randomizing these correctly. We just got, did we just get the size wrong completely? No, we used 3. This is fine. Okay, yep. So the size is 0.85. Like I said, this is very infrequent, but that's what we expected. On the flop, the bet 1.5 has the same EV as the check, which is interesting, but that's still a thing, obviously. On the turn, check 100%. On the turn, however, they want us to check jam. Interesting. There is a lot to this. And once we get this far down the tree, again, like I've always warned, it's difficult. It's tricky because you have to assume a lot of things have happened before this becomes good. I do see a lot of value in the check jam. I think we did think about it we did think about this in the moment, didn't we? We spoke about potentially shoving turn, like quite literally. The jam is very good. Imagine punishing diamonds and hands like, the thing is, you kind of want him to have 7-8 quite often, or 8-9. Having the 8 in our hand means he has fewer draws, obviously, that are going to limp call. Having the club means he's got fewer backdoor club draws. I like the check jam. I just think possibly a better line. Okay, in any case, I knew that one was going to be complicated. I think this is good, though. We ended up calling ace-6 here. This is going to be really, really close. I think there's a chance this might be a smidge wide. Like ace-8 for sure. Ace-7 maybe. Okay, cool. It's in there. So the important thing is we can't look up the, if we look at the pre-flop, we can't look up a 6 big blind pushing range because his range is augmented by the fact that this player is going to have him covered. So he's playing what will look something like an 11 big blind shoving range, but it's augmented by the fact that we're slightly shorter. So the actual true shoving EV here, shoving effective stack is going to be something like, 9 or whatever. Once we get to 9, ace-6 I think has to go in. And it's, it's pretty, it's okay, cool. This is good adjustment. Nice. Yeah, cool. Our instincts are good here in the unbalanced stacks. Right. No, Denfis, it's not dumb, buddy. Sometimes we have to say these things out loud, and then we say something, and then we can talk about it, and then we're like, oh yeah, cool, and then we remember it. It's all good. So we limp, and there's a jam. Again, I don't know. This seems like a very obvious limp call. We'll double check something here as well. So basically what we did was we limped, guys. This is against a reg, and the reg shoves for 11.5 big blinds. Pretty easy call 100% of the time. I would say this is an EV thing. It's also because we trap a fair amount. If we take a look at the shoving range now, if we take a look at the big blind shoving range, this is where it gets a little bit dangerous because if we filter specifically for the jams, a lot of players aren't going to shove queen deuce off here. A lot of players aren't going to shove queen 5 off here. So why don't we do another node lock here at 11.5? So we'll go for the pre-flop. We'll do 11.5 big blinds with limps. We're going to have a raise to 2, shove, call, create solution. So these two should be pretty much the same. If we go back to small blind, these two should be pretty much identical. Yep, pretty much the same. Okay. So this is our node lock. Now let's say that we do decide to call. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do that reverse node lock. We're going to go backwards. And we're going to turn some of these shoves into checks. So let's assume they're not shoving any of this. Let's assume that they're not going to shove these outliers. So again, just to be clear, this is like random people. Random people aren't making these moves. Probably some kings, I guess. let's just assume that they're doing, it's more linear, right? Let's just assume it looks something like this. They're never doing this. Okay. This is very rough and ready, but you guys get the idea. Let's assume that they're shoving hands that look pretty and are strong because they don't know what else to do with them, but they're not doing the mergey stuff. If we apply this and we go back to what the calling range now looks like. Maybe we should have done this slightly differently, but let's take a look. Call. Okay. So actually, I want to undo what we just did. Can we go back? Oh, I can go back here, I think. Oh, this is still broken? There is a way that you can go back. I haven't worked it out yet. All right, let's try and open this up again. Let me see if this one's broken. Oh, we got, yeah, like maybe we can on-node lock it from here. So this is still wrong. Okay, cool. Let's just start again. I think I messed this up pre-flop. Good. This is all good. Create a solution. Okay, so this is the strategy, and you will note that in that previous example that we just had open, if I duplicate this one, so we'll take a look at this one next, but basically we're still trapping, right? If we assume that we limp and then our opponent is going to do that stuff we just described, we're going to lock the previous nodes. So we're going to assume that we're playing our true strategy, including the king 10 limp. And now our opponents are going to check all this stuff like we said before. Just so we get a rough idea here. Let's say that they're not going to shove any of the merge stuff. They're just going to shove all of the big juicy stuff. This seems fine. This time we're going to apply it, but we're going to lock our strategy. So we're assuming that our strategy will remain the same, including a king 10 off limp here. Is this changed again? God damn it. No, we've locked previous nodes. Fine. And now our opponent is all in. You can see that suddenly a lot of these limp calls are not nearly as good. So let me just double check here. No, this is fine. Okay, these are very similar. Okay, so we definitely locked that correctly. But what you're seeing is we've limped king 10 because that's what the GTO strategy is. However, once our opponent is only going to shove, you know, these much stronger things, the actual outcome here changes significantly. King 10 becomes a fold where if we follow the same pattern, and we take a look at our calling range here, king 10 is obviously included because we dominate a fair amount. What does that mean? That means that if we're playing against a reg who is going to be clever and aggressive and they're going to attack these limps aggressively, we will trap hands, and trapping hands gives us a lot more EV. Whereas when we don't trap hands and they just have strong stuff, king 10 is actually not a very good hand. So we need to be very careful about assuming that these spots are correct because they simply are not in many cases. Now, if we go over to this one, if we know that our opponents is, here you go. Okay, this one is actually unlocked now. If we know that our opponent is going to play closer to this strategy, and we assume that we know that our opponent is going to play like that strategy, if we unlock the previous nodes and apply this, we can see what the strategy should be against players that don't isolate enough. So this is assuming our opponent is not aggressive from out of position apart from when they have strong hands. Now, if we go back, you can see suddenly we're supposed to be all in a lot more. In fact, I think this one's locked now. Darn. This isn't the correct outcome. This isn't the correct strategy. I'm not sure if it's working in retro now. Let me see if I do this. and apply. I think I'm messing with too many now. No, okay, cool. I might have to run it again, but you guys get the point. Our strategy, if we know our opponent's strategy from out of position, changes when we know that they're going to do that, right? But that doesn't mean that we can't still adhere to what we consider to be GTO. We just need to be aware of how we're going to react when their ranges are changed. I'm not gonna make you guys sit through that again, but you get my point. Against a reg, this is appropriate though. That was also important to note. All right, we're shoving Jack 7 for... This is actually more than I thought. I thought this was just 7 big blinds, so that's my bad. This might be a bit deep. Jack 7 will still be a profitable jam, though, which I can show you. So, yeah, this is... Jack 7 will be happy to shove probably 7 and below, but if we take a look at the actual EV of the line, it's going to be fine. Jack 7 will fall into a call. Jack 8 will be pushed, like I said. If we go down to 7... It's in there. Like I said, we're very, very close. I didn't see how deep it was. I thought I misread it. But like I said, we're right in that scope there. If we go to 7.5 again, though, and we take a look at the EV of each line, Jack 7 here. Okay, cool. Yeah. So down here, guys, we can see the value of the jam and the limp is very, 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 very similar. So if you want to default to doing this in a 2x multiplier against a reg, I think this is fine. And we can mathematically prove that the outcome is going to be extremely similar and we're going to simplify in the faster multiplier. So that's good for me. I'm happy with the outcome. We're shoving Queen 7 suited for this. Again, I don't see why we're looking this up. This seems pretty obvious. Perfect play. Yeah, we're just shoving Queen 7 for 7.5 big blinds. It's not rocket science. Jack 10 suited, we limp, and our opponent checks. Now, this is a really interesting one. I'm not convinced that the way we played the hand is GTO, but I am convinced that it's going to be good against players. So we go for a bet on the flop, can never be bad. We have top pair and a flush draw, obviously. On the turn, we actually check, and my anticipation is that, generally speaking, the king is a good card for us to bluff because it's an overcard to a 5 and a 3 and a 10, and also the spades and the straight draws struggle to keep up with a 3 big blind turn bet. So the check here, I think, is in line with showing that we're not particularly strong. I think that our opponents will anticipate that we value bet a 10 on this turn very frequently. We're obviously not doing that here because we have spades specifically. On the river, our opponent checks, and at this point, they're going to have some weak showdown. I would argue that they very rarely have traps because we've checked the turn. A lot of players now suddenly finding that their 10 needs value, their king needs value, their 5 maybe even wants to go for a block bet. If they have a hand like 6-4, I think they're terrified that they're not going to get called enough. And therefore, I think that having a trap on this specific river, based on the way it's played, I think is very unlikely. So we're kind of telling the story here by betting full pot. We're trying to signal to a reg that suddenly we want folds, where we've shown a lot of weakness on a turn that we shouldn't be particularly weak on when we check. Or we're showing a lot of weakness on the turn in a spot where we'd usually show strength where we're strong, is what I'm trying to say. So we bet for, our opponent jams, and I do anticipate this to be a lot of, misdraws that have blockers, stuff like that. As played, it ends up being literally 6 deuce, which is a very cool hand. He plays his hand very well. This is like almost exactly the hand that you expect him to have when he checks river with showdown with the deuce, assuming it might be good, and then suddenly realizes he's trying to turn the 6 into a bluff. This is very good. Like, I think the move is very clever. I don't know if it's a completely believable line if you're a thinking player and you know this guy is a good player, but as played, I'd like to see how GTO approaches this hand, because I think there's a good chance that GTO wants to bet flop, bet turn. Okay, unsolved. Interesting. So, pre-flop. Call obviously approved. On the flop, they actually want us to check. That's also completely understandable. As played, we bet. On the turn, they do bet 3. So the bet 3 on the turn is like I said, that's kind of what I anticipate. I think check is something that doesn't exist in GTO. But again, we're making adjustments specifically to tell a certain story in a very unique situation where we have a particularly strong hand. If we were to bet this turn, that specific combination that he has would have folded, for example. So, these are the deviations where I think there is a lot of value to be gleaned, where the anticipation is that we're just going to bet turn here often. Although, to be fair, the entire thing is a little bit skewed because they're assuming we're going to check the flop more often than not. If we study this, I would anticipate Jack 10 bets the flop almost every time unless you have Jack 10 of spades. So if we filter for top pairs, we can see, okay, there's actually a lot more checking than I anticipated. That's unexpected. Clear. Okay, yeah, so that works. So if you look at the top pair, we're actually checking 39.2% of the time with top pair. That's very interesting, and that is very unexpected. We are betting 40.3% of the time. These colors are bad for my eyes, guys. Apologies. Can't quite see this with my colorblind eyes. So we're still betting, the most of the time, but we are actually checking. Ace 10 is checking a lot. Oh, sorry, this is EV, guys. This is why I'm confused. There we go. That makes more sense. So we are betting a lot. We are betting most of the time. If we take a look at Jack 10 suited specifically, why is Jack 10 suited not here? There it is. So Jack 10 of spades wants to check. Jack 10 of hearts wants to bet. Jack 10, yeah, that makes sense. 9-10 wants to bet most of the time. Okay, yeah, sorry. So I was looking at the wrong one, but this is correct. Basically, we're going to bet with top pair most of the time. Some of our weakest top pair down here wants to check. That's just for balance purposes. Jack 10 suited is actually going to check a fair amount on this board as well. That's good. So again, a big deviation here. I'm not putting a ton of stock into the way that GTO is going to play this, but it is interesting to compare and to confirm some of your bias. Okay. So there you go, guys. That is the end of today's review session. We are still battling, and I'm hoping that this little upswing here in terms of chips one is going to be a larger upswing into the higher echelons. Overall, I would say that we're holding it down pretty well. We're doing a lot of complaining on stream, which is quite toxic, and I don't like that, but we have encountered a prolonged stint here on stream of a whole lot of nothing really happening. And a lot of it, I believe, is going to be down to card distribution. However, we are still studying. We are still making big adjustments for the pool. We're still exploring concepts that we can apply that will give us additional edge. Like I said at the start of this week, I have created this text document where I've started to note significant deviations from GTO from our very talented opponents. A lot of it is kind of in obvious places, which is unexpected. It's nothing that's going to win us a million more chips, but it is. They are situations that I have suspected are being played in unbalanced fashions, and they are pretty easily combatable. We're still going to have to battle the same guys. We're still going to have to play very good poker. We're still going to have to put ourselves in tough situations. Generally speaking, however, what we are going to do is we are going to buckle down. We're going to keep studying, and we're going to keep trying to find the situations where we can win more chips than our opponents. And then overall, hopefully we will find more EV and more success in the future. Denta says the check on the turn was swag if you had to run it into it. So it is. Yeah, exactly. I think this is good. Anyway, that's all for today, guys. More tomorrow, 2 p.m. UK. We're going to play some more spins. We're going to try and win some more chips. We are just over 3,000 games now, I believe. And that means that we are about 1,000 games behind schedule, which is, is easily covered if we put in some more volume. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're going to play some more poker. Wish me luck tonight. I'm going to go play some cards this evening as well. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you.